All right then, good morning, everyone. Today is March 17th, 2021. This is a regular meeting of the members of the State Liquor Authority being conducted in Albany and also remotely. We have in attendance Chairman Bradley in the Albany offices. We have by video Commissioner Fan and Commissioner Ford. Staff in attendance, we have General Counsel Meyerhoff, Deputy Commissioner of Licensing Roberts, and myself, Secretary Donahue, in the Albany offices. The next meetings of the authority will be March 31st, April 14th, April 28th. Those are all Wednesdays. Before we get started with the items in the order they're on the calendar, I think there's an announcement or two to be made.
Go ahead. So I have an announcement following up on the announcement that was made last week with regards to renewals and mailing. So we understand that this continues to be a problem for some of our licensees in certain parts of the state. We do recognize that it's causing some potential issues with the timeliness of their renewals, United States Postal Service. So we do encourage people to continue mailing their renewals in advance. People do have up to 270 days if they're required to notify their municipality or community board of the renewal. But if they are running into timeliness issues, we have set up an additional overnight mailing address for our lockbox renewals. It's a physical address, so applicants, licensees can then send it to a physical address via FedEx, UPS, or other common carriers overnight. I'll give you the address now, the physical address where those can be sent to, but it's also listed on our website under the renewals page. So these renewals that need to be mailed overnight for timeliness purposes can be sent to M&T Bank Lockbox Support. Attention 8000930 626 Commerce Drive, Amherst, New York 14228. And again, that address can be found on our website under the renewals page if you need to be sending in your renewals to avoid potential delays with the USPS. I do want to note this is a temporary arrangement that's been set up with the bank as they both, and we understand the hardships that the USPS delays are creating for applicants and licensees.
And just to be clear,
We'll have to wait to see what has to be clear because we seem to have lost the Albany feed. We'll just take a moment here and we'll check to see what's going on. Okay, it looks like we have Albany. Can you hear and see me?
Yes, Tom, we're
Albany
here. Thank you.
All right. The chairman was just about to say what was clear, and then we lost the video and sound. So we're all waiting to find out what's clear.
what I was saying was that while this is an issue, it's very clear to us that it's only affecting a small percentage of our licensees throughout the state. We can't gauge which region or area or predict is being affected by it based on our looking at the numbers. So I think the best solution, if you're a licensee, is to send your renewal in as early as possible, certainly earlier than 2 weeks before it would expire. And I would recommend that they do it a month in advance if they could.
Right there. Any other announcements?
No, I don't.
Okay, then we'll proceed with the items on the calendar. First is 668, 669, 670, This is a conditional offer of $15,000. Commissioner Fan,
I'll accept 15,000.
Commissioner Ford,
I'll accept.
Chairman Bradley.
I'll accept.
Next item is 671. It's a conditional offer of $1,500. Commissioner Fan,
I'll accept.
Commissioner Ford,
I'll accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
672, another conditional offer of $1,500.
I'll accept.
Commissioner Ford,
Let me just here. Accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
673, a $1,500 conditional offer.
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
674, a $1,500 conditional offer. Commissioner Fan,
Sorry, I said I'll accept.
oh, I'm sorry. Commissioner Ford,
No, no.
Accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
675, a $1,500 conditional offer.
I'll accept.
Commissioner Ford,
Accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
676, this is a default.
I'll take 1,500.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
It's a default, Chairman Bradley.
Yeah, 1,500.
677, it's another default. Commissioner Fan,
Did they default on the other two as well?
yes. And both of those penalties have been deferred pursuant to the continuing advisory.
I'm at 5,000.
Commissioner Ford,
I was at 3,000.
Chairman Bradley,
I didn't hear what Commissioner Ford said. He blinked out.
3,000. We have a 5,000 and a 3,000.
3,000.
678 is another default. Commissioner Fan,
I'll take 1,500.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
you were muted. Okay, I got you. Chairman Bradley,
1,500.
1,500, not 1,500 accept. Sorry.
I got you. 679 is a $5,000 conditional offer.
I'll take 5,000.
Okay, Commissioner Ford,
Accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
680 is a $1,500 conditional offer.
I'll
Commissioner
take
Fan,
1,500. I'll take
Commissioner
1,500.
Ford? Yep, Commissioner Ford,
Accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next item is 681. It's a $2,000 conditional offer.
I'll accept 2,000.
Commissioner Ford,
Let me just here. 681. 2,000
Commissioner
accept.
Ford,
Accept.
yeah, okay. We heard a little delay with your audio there, Commissioner
I'm on the
Ford.
computer. If it continues, I'll switch to the phone.
Okay. Chairman Bradley,
Accept.
682. It's a $1,500 conditional offer. Commissioner Fan,
I actually thought this one would be higher, but I'll take it.
Commissioner Ford,
accept,
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Mr. Nair, you can leave the meeting. We'll let you know when you should join for your matter. 683, it's a $1,500 conditional offer.
I'm not gonna take this unless they say that they're now serving food. There's no letter of any sort.
Open? Yeah, I think the reason for that is because on a lower, on a first offense, we send a form to the licensee, a second page of the pleading that puts the offer out, which they just have to check and respond to. But if you want them to respond, we can certainly
No, it's okay. I'll take
go with
1,500.
it. That way.
Thank you.
Commissioner Ford,
accept,
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
684, it's a $1,500 conditional offer.
I'll accept 1,500.
Commissioner Ford,
accept,
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
685, a $1,500 conditional offer.
Accept 1,500, Tom.
Commissioner Ford,
I'll accept that as well.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
686, a $1,500 conditional offer. Commissioner Fan,
I'm gonna go to 1,000.
Commissioner Ford,
I'll do 1,000 as well. 35 years, no violations.
and Chairman Bradley.
Yeah, the licensee's been licensed since 1986 with no adverse history. I'll go to 1,000.
687 is a $1,500 conditional offer.
I accept 1,500.
Commissioner Ford,
Accept,
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
688 and 89, it's a $2,000 conditional offer.
I'll accept.
Commissioner Ford,
I'll accept,
Chairman Bradley.
I'll accept it. It should have been a higher offer given it was 2 incidents, but both incidents were not serious, so I'll accept.
The next item, 690, it's a $10,000 conditional offer.
Yeah, on this
Commissioner
one,
Fan?
I was just going to say on this one, if this had been 3 months earlier, this would have been the fourth within 5 years. Because it's not, it looks like the third. Or it actually looks like the second in 5 years because there were two. So it would be consistent with our practice to accept at this level. But they're close.
Okay, I'll accept 10,000, but last chance, as council said.
Commissioner Ford,
accept,
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next item, 691, 725, and 726. This is a $3,000 conditional offer.
I'm
Commissioner
gonna
Fan.
counter. I'm gonna counter at 8,000.
Commissioner Ford,
I thought this was a little bit low too. I was going to counter at 5.
all right. Chairman Bradley.
I'm gonna counter at 6. I'm
Right.
kidding.
So
And
unless,
then can we all get to the middle there?
6,500.
Yeah.
6,500 is.
All
We're all
right.
good with that?
6,500.
Yes.
okay. All right, 692, a request for reconsideration on a disapproval of a wine store license.
So this was denied. They are basically trying to say that they were they're replacing a closed store. However, the facts as I saw that the closed store that they say they are replacing was actually already replaced. Other than that, I did not see anything else new.
Yes, I would say the grounds they offered is that they now think they were replacing a store which was actually already replaced. They also, again, argue about their intention to have a particular type of wine in the location, which was an argument that was already made, and it did not overcome other issues for why there was a rejection.
All right, then, on the request for the reconsideration, Commissioner Fan?
I vote no on reconsideration.
Okay, Commissioner Ford?
I vote no on reconsideration as well.
And Chairman Bradley?
No.
All right, then, the next item, 693. It's a $1,500 conditional offer.
I'll go to 1,000.
Commissioner Ford?
I'll go to 1,002. Also, what, 32 years in business? They've been clean for at least 13, so I'll do 1,000 as well.
Chairman Bradley?
I will do the same.
Next item is 694. This is a defaulted plea. Commissioner
Yeah,
Fan?
we're gonna take this one back if we can. There are other cases, I think, in the pipeline for this licensee, and we would like them all dealt with together for the board. So we're asking that this be sent back to council's office, even though it was sent up as a default.
All right, Commissioner Fan, you good with that?
Yes, please.
Commissioner Ford?
Fine with me.
And
Yes.
Chairman Bradley?
God, we're not hearing him in the ears. We're not hearing Commissioner Ford. Are you hearing him good, Tom?
Yes, there's a slight delay, but I'm getting everything he's saying.
I'm getting
Okay.
a delay from Tom, too.
Okay. I'll send it back to council as well.
Tom, if I become a problem, like I said, just give me a moment here and I'll tag off with the audio and call back in on my phone.
But
I
now,
just
now
want to
there-
hear him. I don't care what he
there's no
looks like.
delay at all I have with you. So you're fine right
Must be
now as
us.
far as my end.
All
Are you
right.
having a problem in Albany?
Not
We're-
recently.
the only problem is that the voice doesn't match the video. So
All right,
there's a
I'm
delay
gonna-
between
I'm gonna-
those two.
I'm going to suggest that you disconnect and call back in.
All right, Tom, we'll do that.
Do you know how to?
See if I can just disconnect audio. Switch audio.
You're Commissioner Ford, you're fine. You had a slight delay earlier,
Okay,
but everything's online now.
all right.
I think the problem is with the Albany office. Not the staff in the Albany office, just the IT connections. All right, Albany, can you hear and see me relatively simultaneously?
Yep, that looks like it's much better. Thanks, Tom.
Okay. All right, then the next item is 695. It's a $3,500 conditional offer.
I'll take 3,500.
Commissioner Ford,
Accept 3,500.
Chairman Bradley.
I'll accept.
The next item is 696. This is a no contest plea. This license was summarily suspended back on January 29th.
This is actually the second. This is actually the second summary for this location, not indicating that should dictate what your fine should be or whether they should be open or not. Just it's not clear on the paperwork. That's all.
The first summary was for violating curfew, I believe, back in August.
They paid $25,000 on that. That's the one that's there. It's just not reflected as a summary.
All right. Commissioner Barr.
Everything. Commissioner Fan,
I'm at 15,000.
Commissioner Ford,
I was at 10,000.
Chairman Bradley.
Can we go to 12.5?
Done. Actually, I originally had 12,000. So okay.
So Commissioner Ford, you're changing to 12.5.
Yes.
I'll go to 12.5, Tom.
Okay. The next item, 697. It's a $1,500 conditional offer.
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
698 is a default at pleading.
Is this one going back to council?
Sorry. I'm sorry, yes. We asked that this one be sent back as well for a similar reason.
All right, then Commissioner Fan,
Yes, that's fine.
Commissioner Ford,
Works for me.
Chairman Bradley.
Yes.
Next item is 699. It's a $1,500 conditional offer.
I'll accept 1,500.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
700 is a $6,500 conditional offer.
Accept 6,500.
Commissioner Ford,
Accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next item, 701. It's a new package store license application.
This is a Jefferson County package store, 7,381 square feet. 6,500 of that will be retail. The location was previously licensed. It was surrendered in March of 2020. There are 3 protests. The store will have 5 employees. A manager will be hired. The owner will continue his employment and only manage as necessary. The closest store is 0.9 miles away, and there are 4 stores within 3.4 miles. The applicant owns the building that he's trying to put this store in.
All right, then Commissioner Fan,
This is a giant store that's proposed in a space that was previously a Walgreens or Rite Aid liquor store. But I'm not really seeing growing numbers here, so I'm going to vote to deny.
Commissioner Ford,
Yes, as Commissioner Fan noted, this was previously a Rite Aid liquor store. I think from 2018 through 2020. And I guess when it was sold to, I think it was Walgreens, that just didn't fit into their business model. So that's why it was abandoned or surrendered. I'm looking at the other numbers, and I guess I kind of agree with Commissioner Fan, and I don't really see the demand or growth for another store of this size and so forth at this location. I think there are, well, there's several stores in the area. That doesn't include the big one on Fort Drum itself, which we don't include in our assessment, but it is there. So I'm gonna vote to deny as well, to make a long story long, short story long. I'm gonna vote to deny.
Chairman Bradley.
I'm going to vote to approve. The numbers are going to remain the same, I would guess, given that this store was previously a liquor store up until March of last year. So it served public convenience and advantage at that time, and I don't know why it wouldn't at this time.
All right, the next item, 702, it's a package store alteration application.
This is a package store that is currently 800 square feet, 727 square feet retail. It wants to expand to become 1,447 square feet, 976 square feet of that will be retail. It's a store with 2 employees, the principal manages. They're looking to expand into the store next door. And it was licensed in April of 2018. The closest store is 0.4 miles away, and there are 4 within 0.5 miles.
All right, Commissioner Fan.
Well, I'm gonna vote to approve, given the very limited increase in retail space and the lack of responses from the closest stores.
Commissioner Ford.
It's an increase in retail space of only 249 square feet. No real response from anybody. So I'm going to vote to approve as well.
Chairman Bradley.
I'm going to vote to approve.
Next item, 703, it's a new on-premises wine license application.
So this is a restaurant with 3 employees. The principal will manage, security will be hired, recorded music, jukebox, karaoke, and DJ. Dancing will not be permitted, either will promoters. The applicant has experience, but her experience is as a manager at another licensed premise that we actually canceled in 2000.
We canceled it recently.
2020? Yeah, go ahead.
So Paria Latina at 5523 Broadway in the Bronx is a license we suspended, I want to say in just November or December of 2019 for being a focal point in a series of violent incidents which covered the period of time in which this applicant claims to have been the manager of Paria Latina. Her name, however, is not listed as a manager in the application, and she does not appear as one of the people involved in the disciplinary cases that resulted in the suspension and ultimately cancellation of that license. There was a man named Isidro Ramirez who was apparently running that place after hours. It's possible that the applicant is related to the named licensee in that location because they share a last name, Castillo. Jeanette Castillo was the licensed principal at Paria Latina at the time, and the applicant here is Amber Castillo Veras, who in the supplemental submission just identifies herself as Amber Castillo, same last name as the Paria Latina. So it's not clear to me whether she is inaccurately portraying herself as the manager of that place, or she was the manager and is perhaps in some way connected to the lack of supervision in that location that led to some significant disciplinary issues.
And just to finish that off, the previous license at this location was canceled in April of 2019 as a result of the agency revoking another license of the former owner.
All right then, Commissioner Fan, are you ready to vote?
Sorry. And based on what Chairman and Gary just described, there are just too many questions, so I'm going to vote to deny.
Commissioner Ford. Commissioner Ford, I think you're muted.
This time I actually was, sorry about that. Based on what was presented by council, I too still have a few questions here. So I'm going to vote to deny as well. They can always ask for reconsideration and present us with something for clarification to consider. But for now, I'm voting to deny.
Okay, Chairman Bradley.
I'm going to vote to deny as well, given that this is in a residential building, the method of operation that the applicant is proposing, and the fact that she was a manager at another license, or states that she was a manager at another license that we recently canceled for, that had a similar method of operation, and we canceled for lack of supervision among other violations. So I'm going to vote to deny for cause.
All right, 704, it's a new package store license application.
Brooklyn Package Store, 2,000 square feet, 950 square feet retail. We'll have 3 employees with a hired manager. The owner does not have any experience and has been retired since 2013. It will be a bulletproof store. The closest store is 0.3 miles away. There are 4 within 0.8 miles away. And there is no protests, I don't believe.
Yeah, no, there.
Oh, there is a protest. I'm sorry.
Here's the thing. There were no protests initially, but in a supplemental submission, we received actually protests on behalf of 3 stores. One of them contends that there's a church within 75 feet of this location. Also says that there's a residential apartment above, but that they believe that the person who's living in there is a employee or member of the church. So I think we may need to inquire on that before granting a license here, if that was what the board was inclined to do.
So members, based on the opposition that came in, if you feel it necessary to check into the exclusivity of the church in question, we can take it back at licensing and follow up on that.
Okay, that's fine with me, Adam. You want 331 or first meeting in April?
We can hold it over to 331. That'll give us enough time.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Ford,
That's fine with me, 31.
Chairman Bradley.
331.
Next item, 705, it's a new package store application.
This is a Nassau County package store, 1,500 square feet. 1,200 of that will be retail. It's a store with 1 employee. Principal will manage. It will be a bulletproof store. There's 1 protest. The closest store is 0.2 miles away, and there are 4 within 1.1 miles. And the owner has no apparent experience.
All right then, Commissioner Fan?
Also, this will be a bulletproof store, right?
I said that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
And the 2 closest stores are not bulletproof.
Given everything Chairman just described, I don't see public convenience to add a store here in Nassau County, so I'm going to vote to deny.
Commissioner Ford?
3 closest stores, sales are going up. The only store whose sales are kind of erratic up and down is the furthest store away, and that's the one that protested. But this would be a 1,200 square foot bulletproof store, and I guess I question whether that is something that is really needed here. So I guess my conclusion is that at this time, no, it is not, and I vote to deny as well.
Chairman Bradley?
I'm going to vote to deny as well. I don't see any public convenience and advantage to be added by adding a bulletproof store here. They're going to be selling the same products to the same customer base, except that customer base won't even be allowed to go in and pick up the product and look at it before they purchase it.
Hey Adam, is a 1,200 square foot liquor store, isn't that rather large in our experience?
1,200?
1,200 square feet.
In that particular area?
Yes.
I mean, it may be, you know, I don't want to speak to the size based on, without knowing the rest of the size of the stores, but, you know, it potentially could be.
All right, then next item, 706, it's a package store removal.
This is a package store that is moving 90 feet, so the 4 closest stores will remain the same. The current store is 940 square feet. The proposed store is 2,200 square feet. 1,200 of that will be retail. It's, as I said, moving 90 feet. The store will have 3 employees. The principal is managing. There is 1 protest. The closest store is 0.1 miles away. There are 4 within 0.6 miles. It's been licensed since 2015, so this isn't an end around. And that's it.
All right, then, Commissioner Fan? You're muted, Commissioner Fan.
Adam, when was this store actually originally licensed?
So it looks like the original license was issued in 2015. At that time, they did have enter into a 10-year lease for the space with the terms and lease prices for each year.
For the 10
predetermined.
years until
For the 10-year duration.
2025?
That's correct.
I'm going to vote to deny.
Commissioner Ford?
It's only a 90-foot move. All the closest stores remain the same. They're only increasing their footprint retail about 260 feet, 940 to 1,200. So I'm going to vote to approve.
Chairman Bradley?
I'm going to approve as well for the same reason.
Next item, 707. It's a new package store license.
This is a Montgomery County package store. It will be 1,200 square feet, 950 square feet will be retail. The principal will be it appears to be the only employee, has no experience in the liquor industry. There are 2 protests. The location was previously licensed, and that license was surrendered in November of 2020. It is not a bulletproof store. The closest store is 0.4 miles. There are 4 within 2.6 miles. The third closest is the only bulletproof store within the 4 closest stores. The opposition has indicated that there are 6 stores within 3-mile radius.
Just for the record, the previous license was surrendered in January of 2020.
Oops, sorry.
All right, then, Commissioner Fan?
But this is replacing a closed store?
As it's replacing the store at the same premises. So
Okay.
there was a previous license here that surrendered January 15th of 2020, and this store is seeking to replace that.
Okay, I'll vote to approve then.
Commissioner Ford?
I know there was another store here, but this would make 3 stores along a stretch of Route 30 north of Amsterdam. And I'm looking at the sales. The closest store are pretty much consistent the past two years or so. One seems to be going up, the other one, the furthest away, seems to be erratic. I just don't see the need in Amsterdam for 3 stores on Route 30 within less than a mile or 2 or 3 of each other. So I'm voting to deny.
Chairman Bradley?
I will vote to approve since it's replacing a store that just recently closed, closed a year ago.
Next item, 708. It's a new package store license.
The Monroe County package store, 4,350 square feet, 3,350 of that will be retail. It is not bulletproof. It's a store with 2 employees, the principal and manage. The principal has experience as a bookkeeper for another liquor store, which is, I believe, his father's store in Rochester. There are 6 protests, and the closest store is 1.1 miles away. There are 4 within 2.1 miles.
All right, Commissioner Fan, you ready to vote?
Yes, given the licensees, or rather the applicant's prior experience at her father's store, the family owns the building. I'm gonna vote to approve.
Commissioner Ford,
This store is located on the on the east side of 390. The closest store is on the west side of 390, both on Route 31, both in Gates, and that's a pretty busy corridor, so I'm going to vote to approve. Oh,
Chairman Brett,
and the stores are also, all stores, sales seems to be going up at the same time too, so I vote to approve.
Chairman Bradley,
I'm going to vote to approve as well. It's directly across the street from a Wegmans Plaza, so it's convenient. The closest store sales, all 4 of them are up. The closest store is actually up significantly. The one thing I do want to warn, that should this store become involved with the father's store, because the father is the landlord of this store, they're liable to lose both stores. So I would make sure that they follow the law.
next item 709, new on-premises liquor license.
This is a bar and tavern with 2 employees, no security, principal to manage. They will have recorded music, jukebox music, live acoustic music. Dancing will not be allowed. The max occupancy is 45 people. They have seating for 20 as well as 22 seats at the bar. The applicant has experience. They also will have an outdoor patio holding 10 people. There are no objections. The prior license here was canceled by the SLA in March of 2019. The applicant indicates there's no relationship between the applicant and the former licensee. They've been on a how long have they been on a temp, Adam?
The original was issued in October of 2020, and it's current until April. So
And they've had no issues since being on the temp that I'm aware of.
that's correct.
There are residents directly across the street from the applicant.
Did you say that they've been on the temp since October of 2018?
No, 20.
Oh, okay.
October of 2020, you say, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. All right.
And there are no yield violations.
Let me just double check to make sure. No EO violations, no complaints. Nothing recent.
Okay, I'm gonna vote to approve. Thank you.
They've been operating as a temp, for several months now with no issues. Letters of support and the supplemental include NYPD Detective Keenigan, retired police chief from Seaside, California, Steve Sircone, a commander from the U.S. Coast Guard, Matthew Moyer, DC police officer Brian O'Shea, and even a congressman from Ireland, Barry Cohen. So I don't think it would get any better for anybody than to have your application for an Irish pub approved on St. Patrick's Day. So I vote to approve.
I think you're muted, Tom.
Yes, I was. Sorry about that. Chairman Bradley.
I'll vote to approve as well. I do, since there's an outdoor patio though, I do want to put an hours on the outdoor patio and make sure it's closed by 11 every night, since there are residents across the street. If you would all agree on that.
Yes, that's great. Thank you.
Commissioner Ford?
Yes.
All right. Next item, 717. It's a new package store license.
This is at Queens Package Store. It will, it's 1,727 square feet. 1,119 square feet of that will be retail. It's a store with 3 employees. The applicant will manage. The closest store is 0.1 miles away. There are 4 within 0.5 miles. It will not be bulletproof. We did not get responses from 2 of the 4 closest, and then the closest store was just transferred, so we don't really have sales numbers on that either. There are 2 protests.
All right then, Commissioner Fan, are you ready to vote?
Yes, I don't see public convenience and advantage to add a store here, so I'm going to vote to deny.
Commissioner Ford?
2 of the 4 stores didn't respond. The second closest seems to be in the 1.7, 1.6 million range over the past few years. So I'm going to vote to approve.
Chairman Bradley?
I'm going to vote to approve as well. The two of the 4 closest did not respond to our sales, so I'm going to assume, since they didn't respond, they must not have an issue. The second closest has increased sales, and the store is not, for this area, not significantly large, so I do see some public convenience and advantage based on where it is, so I'm going to vote to approve.
Next item is 710. It's a new package store license.
Yeah, just for the record on this one, we have a rather convoluted set of letters and other information that have been provided to us.
Well, let me just go through what it is first, so it's
Yeah.
clear. So this is going to be, just before he gets into the strangeness of this application, this is going to be a bar and tavern with 10 employees. The principal will manage recorded music, jukebox music, and live music, patron dancing as well. The applicant has no prior experience. They have an outdoor deck. They did get a temp, but that was rescinded in August of 2020. And we do have what purportedly is a letter from the Cohoes PD that protests giving this place based on adverse history and potential availing, I guess, but I think Gary's going to get into whether that letter is even real or not.
Yeah, there's a question posed by somebody from inside the municipality's government that the police department's letter is authentic, which has some credibility to it because the police department letter does not appear that official. And yet you would think that the municipality would go to the police department and say, can you confirm whether this is accurate or not? And we don't have that yet. There's also some other third-party accusations about who's the true owner here that may or may not be accurate. They have, in some respects, the air of reliability, and then in some respects, the air of a family squabble. So I'm not sure. I think we could do something to further investigate some of these facts before a decision is made, unless the board has some view of this location based on something else that might drive a decision. But we certainly could make a call to the police department or the municipality to find out what's going on here. Try to.
All right. Commissioner Fan?
Yes, I would support us to hold and further look into the authenticity of the documents.
Commissioner Ford?
Yeah, that letter from the police, you can't tell who signed it. No one's taking credit for it. And a few other things that seem kind of unclear to me as well. So I'm for holding it as well. 331?
So do it. 331. Chairman Bradley?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask that it be held over, and I'm also gonna direct that licensing reach out to the city of Cohoes as well as the police department, find out if the letter is real, but also have enforcement do some background checking on the applicant and as well as the husband.
I need to back. We're talking about 710 here, right?
7-Eleven, Tom.
711.
No, we're on 710.
No, Tom, 710, we all voted to, Commissioner Fan voted to deny, and Commissioner Ford and I voted to approve.
No, that was 7. I'm sorry. No, I had something not in order. I apologize.
It's okay, thanks, Tom.
Let me just correct something here. I had some documents not in order. All right, then, so 7-Eleven being held over to the 31st.
Yep.
Apologize for that. All right, then, next item is 712. That's another new package store license application.
This is another Monroe County package store, 3,090 square feet total, 980 square feet of that will be retail. The store will have 4 employees, principal to manage, has no experience, has very little actually job experience. It is bulletproof. There was a prior application here that was denied because the applicant at the time had a pending felony arrest. The prior applicant sold the unlicensed store that wasn't going to get licensed to this applicant and now holds a promissory note. This applicant has put up no money, 100% of it is loans. And this location was previously licensed. That license was surrendered in March of 2019. The closest store is 0.7 miles away. There are 4 stores in 1.8 miles. The 2 closest stores are bulletproof. The 3rd store we got no response from, so we don't know what it is. And the 4th store is not bulletproof. There are no protests.
All right,
Yeah,
then.
we can have some-
Oh, and I take that back. The applicant, the sale of the former of this location to the applicant was essentially the building. She bought the building.
Commissioner Fan?
I'm very hesitant to add another bulletproof store. And given that all the funds are deferred, there's no real relevant work experience here. I'm going to vote to deny.
Commissioner Ford?
It says under the source of funds, it says the seller is holding a note of 145,000 and 5-star bank loan of 125,000. So seller is not holding all of it, just a little bit more than half of it. Previous applicant here was denied due to a felony arrest. So this person is just selling the property to a new applicant. There's no protest. It is a bulletproof configuration, but 2 out of the 4 stores are also bulletproof. and 3 out of the 4 stores, sales are rising. So I'm going to vote to approve.
Chairman Bradley.
I'll vote to approve for the same reason, plus the previous license here was surrendered, or the building was previously licensed, and that license was surrendered in March of 2019, and based on what we have in front of us, it doesn't appear that was ever replaced.
Next item is 713, a new package store application.
This is going to be, it's a Queens package store with 10 employees, principal to manage, along with a hired manager. The applicant has experience managing a liquor store for approximately 3 months. It's a 5,408 square foot store. 3,300 square feet will be retail. 0.4 miles away is the closest store. There are 7 within 1.1 miles. The representative of 12 of the protesting liquor stores indicates that there are 27 stores in 1.1 mile within a 1.1 mile radius, and we do have, as I just mentioned, there's more than 12 protesters. There's probably 15. The representative reps 12 of them.
Yeah, just to clarify that what we have before us, the representative of the protester says there's 27 stores within 1.1 miles. The applicant's representative says that's exaggerated, and there are only 6, which would be one of the great exaggerations of all time.
Although
6 to 27. So I asked our head of licensing to take a look, and I think you think there are around 20 within 1.1 miles.
Yeah, there seem to be about more than 20 active licenses of the 1.1 miles.
This is an area of Queens that is densely populated by liquor stores.
All right, we ready to vote then?
Yes,
Commissioner Fan?
I don't see the need for a giant mega store in this area, so I'm going to vote to deny.
Commissioner Ford.
Yeah, I too think one of the least things that this area of Queens needs is yet another liquor store. So I'm voting to deny.
Chairman Bradley.
I'm going to vote to deny as well. As Deputy Commissioner Roberts points out, there's over 20 stores within a 15-minute walk of each other in this area. Right close to this location, there are definitely 7 within a 15-minute walk. There is no indication that this store is going to provide anything that those 20 plus stores are not already providing. So it's basically selling the same products to the same customer base that's already there. So I don't see any public convenience and advantage to that. I think if there is a neighborhood that is saturated, it's this one.
Well, the next item, 714, another new package store application.
So Brooklyn package store, 1,665 square feet. 1,065 square feet of that will be retail. The applicant also owns an on-premise license with some adverse history and will continue to run that as well as this store. It will not be bulletproof. The store will have 1 employee. The applicant will be active, but will also at the store, but will also hire a manager since he will also be running the on-premise license. The closest store is 0.2 miles away. There are 4 within 0.6 miles. There are 3 protests. The building was previously licensed, although not since 2017. At that time, it was a kosher wine store. The applicant has offered to carry 80% kosher products, similar to that previous store.
All right then, Commissioner Fan.
The numbers that we do have from neighboring stores are going down. 2 stores did not report. The applicant is showing an investment of $12,000, which is really unclear what that covers since rent itself is $5,600. So I'm gonna vote to deny.
Commissioner Ford.
This store is replacing, it's going to be a kosher wine store that's replacing a kosher liquor store that's replacing a kosher wine store that closed 4 years ago. The stores that are protesting are the same. I mean, two of the stores that are protesting at least are the same ones. They were there before when it was open. Looking at the numbers, 2 of the 4 did not respond. The 2 that did respond, the second closest one had sales that were going up until last year, but last year we only have figures through September. So if I want to extrapolate that a little further out, I think they would be at least as what they were the year before. And the 4th store, yeah, their numbers have gone up too, and their last numbers were only through November. So with all of that said, I am going to vote to approve.
Chairman Bradley.
I'm going to vote to deny. There are 2 stores on either side of this store on the same street. The representative that, and that's probably less than 1,000 feet away on both sides. The representative that's protesting for 3 of the protesters indicates that there are 6 stores within 0.6 miles. And as I just said, the applicant is 0.15 miles from those 2 stores. The other issue that Commissioner Fan did raise, but really is starting to get to me immensely, is the lack of transparency in the investment. I observed a number of liquor store applications in this packet, many of which had investments of $150,000 to $200,000. This individual is indicating he's going to open a liquor store for $12,000. The rent on this location is $5,600 a month, which means you have to pay the first month's rent as well as the security deposit, which basically puts him at $11,200, which means he has $800 to buy product. There's no way that that's accurate. And I'm going to start denying stores that have come in with those numbers because it leads me to believe that there's something else going on here.
All right, then the next item is 715, a package store license application.
This is a store with 2 employees. The owner will be active 40 hours a week. He has no experience. It's in Queens County, 2,232 square feet. 1,050 square feet of that will be retail. The closest store is 0.3 miles away. There are 4 within 0.8 miles. It will not be bulletproof. There is 1 protest from the closest store that filed a letter, and that store opened in August of 2020 as a brand new store, Adam?
Correct.
And that's it. Oh, it's the 2 of the stores did not report their sales. The 3rd closest store is bulletproof. The closest store is not bulletproof.
All right, Commissioner Fan.
While I want to be supportive of this applicant's coastal military venture, I feel like I just can't justify adding another store here when we just added one in August. So I'm going to vote to deny, maybe find a different location.
Commissioner Ford.
I agree with Commissioner Fan. We just licensed the store 0.3 of a mile away back in August. 2 of the other 4 closest stores did not respond. The other one that did, their numbers are rather bleak, in my opinion, to say the least. So I really don't see the need for another store at this location at this time. So I vote to deny.
Chairman Bradley.
I'm going to vote to deny. We just licensed the closest store last summer. The population is stagnant, and we haven't even seen how that new store is going to affect the sales, or I should say the demand for alcohol in the area.
All right, next item is 716. It's a package store license application.
Copy them.
This is a store with one employee and principal will move.
All right, we've lost Albany again, so let's just hold on and we'll address that. You're muted, Commissioner Fan, but okay.
I'll be right back. I'll be right back.
Okay, yep.
Me too in that case.
No cost there, but once again, the investment is a fallacy.
Chairman, yeah, we lost you for a couple minutes there. So
All
we're
right,
gonna
so
have
what I
to go.
said, what I said is
No,
similar to
wait,
the-
hold on, because Commissioner Fan and Commissioner Ford just took a brief break since we lost you. Okay,
all right, go for 10 minutes.
so let's just take a couple minute break here. Commissioner Ford, if you're back with us. Okay, we'll get back to the calendar. I will recall the last item we were discussing, which is 716. It's a new package store license application.
Where did you, Tom, did we get through the whole description that I had, or did we lose me during that?
We heard very little of it.
All right, it's a Suffolk County package store, 1,000 square feet, 586 square feet of that will be retail. The store will have one employee with principal to manage. The principal has no experience. There is one protest. 0.7 miles is the 0.7 miles away is the closest store. There are 5 within 1.2 miles. There are, based on our record, 7 stores within 1.5 miles. Once again, as I mentioned in the previous application, the investment in this store is $10,000. The first month's rent is $2,200. The security deposit, or last month's, whatever you want to call it, is another $2,200, which basically leaves $5,600 to do everything else to the store. Applicant has previously applied for a license nearby and was previously denied on public convenience and advantage grounds. And that's it.
All right then, Commissioner Fan, are you ready to vote?
Yes, as Chairman described, finances are very opaque at best. And the 3 closest stores are doing declining numbers. I don't see public convenience or advantage. I'm going to vote to deny.
Commissioner Ford. You're muted, Commissioner Ford. Thank you.
2 of the closest stores have been licensed just since 2017. The numbers for a few of them are kind of erratic. So I don't really see the demand or the need at this point at this location. So I'm going to vote to deny as well.
Chairman Bradley. Chairman Bradley?
I'm going to vote to deny as well. The sales of the 4 closest appear stagnant. They did all go up in 2020, as most stores did, but I'm attributing that to the effect the virus has had on most liquor store sales in the state. I don't see anything unique being offered that's not offered already by the other stores, and there's no evidence presented that there's any population increase, so I don't see any public convenience and advantage.
Next item, 717. New package store license application.
This is another Suffolk County package store, 4,700 square feet. 2,300 square feet of that is retail. It will be a store with 4 employees. The applicant will manage. The applicant does have experience in the liquor industry. He's also currently a salesperson at Southport Liquor, what is that, a liquor store, Adam?
Yes.
Yeah, that's located on Montauk Highway in Shirley, New York. Okay. There are 2 protests. The closest store is 1.2 miles away. There are 4 within 1.8 miles. The applicant owned a store previously with no adverse history. It's not bulletproof, and none of the 4 closest are bulletproof either.
All right then, Commissioner Fan, are you ready to vote?
Yes. Again, lots of stores in this area. I'm not seeing enough growth to put another store in Suffolk County, so I'm going to vote to deny.
Commissioner Ford.
Adam, counsel for the counselor says that there was a Gardner Manor Liquors that was here before. Do you have any record of that, when it was open and when did it close?
Let me take a look quickly for you, Commissioner Ford.
Yeah, Gardner, Gardner Manor.
Commissioner Ford, I don't see anything bringing that up. It looks like, I mean, if you'd like me to look into it more, I certainly can. If you want to hold this item over towards the end of the meeting, I can do some more research into it. But I don't show anything coming up immediately under that.
I have the number here,
Okay.
104 5949. 104
I'm sorry.
109 5949. I'm sorry, I meant to ask.
1095149.
No.
5949.
I'm sorry, one more time.
104 5949.
It looks like that store was surrendered in 2003.
Oh, okay.
So it looks like there may have been things that have, a considerable amount of stores that have come in after that time.
Yep. Thank you for looking. I don't see the need.
Thanks for bearing with me.
Commissioner Fan, did you vote?
No.
I'm sorry, Commissioner
I'll hold
Ford,
my-
just so you know, there was another license after that at the same location,
Okay.
with a different serial number. And that was in effect until, let's see, 2016. They're surrendered. All right, so Commissioner Fan,
I'm voting no.
Commissioner Ford,
I'm voting to deny as well.
Chairman Bradley.
I'm gonna vote to deny as well. I don't see any public convenience and advantage. The three closest stores are showing flat sales, and any increase recently is due to the COVID virus and the increase that you see consistently throughout the state in liquor store sales, which I don't expect to continue. So I don't see any public convenience and advantage.
Next item, 718, 722. It's a conditional offer of $15,000 for a license that was summarily suspended back on the 1st of February.
I'm gonna accept 1,500.
Commissioner Ford,
15,000, Commissioner.
Oh, sorry,
Fan.
16,000, sorry.
Okay.
Commissioner Ford,
Accept.
Chairman Bradley. Next item, 719. It's a $1,500 conditional offer.
Based on the letter from the licensee, I'm gonna lower this to 1,000.
Commissioner Ford,
I'll do 1,000 as well.
Chairman Bradley.
1,000.
720. There's the removal of a catering establishment license.
Catering establishment with 3 employees. The principal is a manager and will hire a manager. It is located on the 9th floor of a multi-unit building. It is a 500-foot case, but it's a catering hall that is only conducts wine tastings for people in the wine industry. It's moving 0.6 miles. They need a restroom waiver because the restrooms are located in a common area shared with another office on the 9th floor. And there are no protests. The principal indicates that he'll be the manager, but appears he does reside in France. So that's a long commute. It doesn't appear that this place has been a problem previously, and I don't expect it would be now either.
He's also saying he's moving because the landlord is doing renovations in his current spot.
And the ALJ has concluded that they have met the burden.
All right, Commissioner Fan,
I vote to approve.
Commissioner Ford,
I vote to approve as well.
and Chairman Bradley.
I vote to approve.
Next item is 721. This is a $1,500 conditional offer.
So this was a charge that occurred in November, and the licensee was subsequently suspended in February, summary suspended in February until March of this year. And for whatever reason, that charge probably should have been included, in my view, in the summary suspension case and was not. So I'm actually willing to just dismiss this.
Yeah, that makes sense. Paid a $15,000 fine.
I don't imagine that would have changed the fine on the summary at all, correct?
No.
That's fine. I agree with that. I was a letter of warning. So.
Me too. Same here.
So we're dismissing the charge.
It's fine.
Charges.
Next item, 723. It's a $3,500 conditional offer.
3,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
3,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
I'll accept.
724. This is a transfer of an on-premises liquor license.
This is a restaurant with 10 to 12 employees, no security, principal to manage, recorded live music, no dancing, no promoters, and they will not close for private events. The principals do have experience. The max occupancy is 74 people. The ALJ found no public interest because of lack of information provided by the rep in the public interest statement, which we have talked about over and over again. The temp was, they're currently on a temporary license. And the previous license here expired 30 days before the transfer app was filed, which led to their need for a temp. They told the community board that their hours would be Wednesday 5 to 1 a.m., Thursday 5 to 2 a.m., and Friday and Saturday 5 to 4 a.m. There's no protest. There are residential units above the location. We also don't have any info from the community board.
Wait, we do have a letter from the community board.
Do we?
Yeah.
No.
What do they say?
No, we have a portion of the minutes of the meeting that the applicant supplied.
It's in the supplemental. You know what confused me a little bit in the ALJ report? It says that the applicant reports that currently operates with the use of a temporary retail permit, which they've had, since 2000? Oh, I'm not sure exactly, but anyway. So, but then it says, other than the liquor license, the applicant also notes the absence of any government approvals and permits required to operate the proposed licensed premises that have not yet been obtained. I'm not sure what that means. It sounds like they need more than just a permit from us.
There are certain permits that we don't require them to give us on the temp, but they are going to be required. They are going to be required to give us on the
permanent license before it's issued.
Yeah.
For the permanent license. Okay, that's what that refers to. Okay, thank you.
All right, then, Commissioner Fan, are you ready to vote?
Yes. I'm going to vote to approve and adopt all the stipulations that are included in the community board minutes. The hours will be Sunday through Wednesday, 5 to 1, Thursday until 2 a.m., Friday, Saturday until 4 a.m., and no sale of liquor after midnight on Sunday. and all the music, etc., as described in the minutes.
All right, Commissioner Ford,
I will vote to approve on all the same conditions as Commissioner Fan just noted.
all right. Chairman Bradley,
I'll approve with those conditions, but can we say close at midnight? I just don't, I've run into a lot of places when I was out last summer that they had no sale after a certain hour and they stayed open, and it puts our investigators in a tough spot.
Okay, so do you want to say close on Sunday at midnight and then Monday through Wednesday at 1 a.m., Thursday at 2 a.m., Friday, Saturday at 4 a.m.?
Yes, that would be easier to enforce.
And then I will go with no promoters, security guard and manager as needed.
Okay.
And this is live acoustic music only. This is all in the notes.
all right, Commissioner Ford, are you good with all that?
Same here. Yes.
And Chairman Bradley, just to double check for everything else that was mentioned?
Yes.
Okay. The next item is 727. As I've already advised you, the underlying application regarding this request to extend the conditional approval deadline has been withdrawn, so this request is now moot. All right, 728 is a $1,500 conditional no contest offer.
I'll take 1,500.
Commissioner Ford,
I'll accept.
Chairman Bradley.
I'll accept.
729, a $1,500 conditional offer.
I'll accept 1,500.
Commissioner Ford,
Accept.
Chairman Bradley.
I'll accept.
Next item, 730, a $1,500 conditional offer.
I'll accept 1,500.
Commissioner
Sorry.
Ford,
Accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next item, 731 and 797. This is a request for reconsideration. Chairman, you're recused from this matter. Just as background, so back in October, you rejected the licensee CNC of $30,000, made a counteroffer cancellation of bond claim. Back in January, you declined a request for reconsideration to accept a $50,000 conditional offer.
But we now have the support of the community board, which we didn't before. And they've been operating for several months without food, with only food. So I'm okay to accept the 50,000.
I'll accept as well.
All right, so reconsideration is granted and to accept a $50,000 conditional offer. The next item, 732, is a $1,500 conditional offer.
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
733, a $1,500 conditional offer.
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford
1,500 accept.
and Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
734, a $1,500 conditional offer.
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley. 735, a $1,500 conditional offer.
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
736, a $1,500 conditional offer.
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
737 and 738, a $5,000 conditional offer.
I will accept 5,000.
Commissioner Ford,
5,000 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next item is 739. It's a $1,500 conditional offer. Just to update the agenda sheet, this license has been renewed through 2023. Commissioner Fan,
I'll accept.
Commissioner Ford,
I'll accept.
and Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
740 is a $1,500 conditional offer. Commissioner Fan,
They've been in business since 1997 with no adverse history since 2008. I'm gonna go to 1,000.
Commissioner Ford.
I'm
Excuse
gonna
me.
go to, I'll go to 1,000
Chairman
as
Bradley.
well.
I'll do 1,000 as well.
741. It's a $50,000 conditional offer on a license that's been summarily suspended since February 14th. And this is the second summary suspension.
Yeah, for the record, the location was suspended once, paid a $25,000 fine. Similar conduct led to a second suspension. The licensee claims, seems odd to me, that the head count is attributable to having 58 employees working that evening. Nonetheless, they've offered a CNC.
Commissioner Fan,
I'm gonna accept the 50,000, but I want to let this licensee know that this is not going to happen again, that please, doesn't really matter what relationships you have or who's gonna send us a letter next time, so please follow the rules. Thank you.
Commissioner Ford,
I echo Commissioner Fan's sentiments here, and I will vote to accept 50,000.
Chairman Bradley.
I will accept the 50,000.
Next item, 742. It's a $1,500 conditional offer.
Safe or sporty? We want both.
Commissioner Fan,
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
743 and 744. It's a $2,000 conditional offer.
This looks a little low, but I'll take it. 2,000.
Commissioner Ford,
Yeah, I think so too, but I'll accept it as well.
Chairman Bradley.
I'll accept as well, 43 and 44. It is low, but I'll accept. I think they're both less serious offenses.
Next item, 745, 746. It's a $5,000 conditional offer.
Commissioner Ford, you know this place?
I know Mohawk Street pretty well. It's a neighborhood that's been going through some changes over the years. And it's not all a bad neighborhood either. I don't mean to make it sound like that either. But this is back in 2019 where this more serious charge is from.
Yeah. Casing.
Yeah. Patron struck inside the bar from gunfire. There's no police report on this or anything like that. We have, Counselor?
Well,
Is it just so loud?
There probably is one in the record, but this is a no contest plea, so we're not really evaluating the evidence.
Yeah.
The allegations are that it was a disorderly premises. There was gunfire outside. It hit a patron inside, and that the licensee did not call law enforcement. We make these charges after a good faith review of the evidence, and they are now asking that we take their no contest plea for those charges and for charges in October of 2020 that are EO charges, a no mask charge, and a serving alcohol without food charge.
Yep. Yeah, I'll accept the 5,000 and get on with it.
Okay, I'll take 5,000 too. Thank you. Chairman?
I'll accept 5,000.
Sorry, forgot I was muted. All right, then 747. It's a request for reconsideration of a extension of a conditional approval.
So this application, the conditional approval is issued August 29, 2018. It was extended to August 28, 2019, extended again to February 28, 2020, extended again to June 28, 2020. And at their request, we extended it again, the full board did, to February 28th, 2021. Now they say they need 90 more days, that the issuance of the temporary C of O is imminent and that inspections have been passed.
Which would make it 2 years and 10 months since it was issued.
Commissioner Fan?
Since I have a stamped letter from a licensed architect, I'm going to give this licensed architect the benefit of the doubt and extend for yet a final time until May 28, 2021.
So if they're asking for 90 days, see, March, we already used up close to, what day is this, 17th? We used up half a month of that already to this point.
Yeah, that's why I went to May, because 3 months from February 28 is May 28. I can go out further if you want. I don't care.
Let's, I'll go along with you. I guess I just want to state it for the record that, you know, these final extensions that we're giving additional final extensions. I mean, this one started back in August of 2018, well before COVID started. And, you know, I have a lot of feeling compassion for the position a lot of people are in, but that is beginning to dwindle as things begin to change. So I will grant this one last time along with Commissioner Fan, but I'm keeping a note on this to myself that I really will not extend another one for this one. And I'm going to keep notes on all of them, that this will be it for me, just speaking for myself. So to 5/28, is that what you said? 5/28/21?
Yes.
Okay.
Chairman Bradley?
No.
Okay, 748 is a conditional offer for a letter of warning.
I'm going to counter at 1,500.
Commissioner Ford?
They said they were playing pool, but they were socially distanced.
That's not legal.
I know, I'm saying it's not legal, but how do you play pool and be socially distant? I don't know.
I'm on pool cue.
I'll do 1,000 as well.
I said 1,500.
Oh, 1,500, I'm sorry.
All right, Chairman Bradley?
1,500.
Next item, 749. This is a pleading default.
I'm at 1,500.
Commissioner Ford?
1,500.
Chairman Bradley?
1,500.
Next item, 750, a $1,500 conditional offer.
I will go to 1,000, licensed since 1995.
Commissioner Ford?
Same here, 1,000.
Chairman Bradley.
95.
I'll accept.
Next item is 751, a $1,500 conditional offer.
I'm gonna accept 1,500.
Commissioner Ford,
Excuse me a second. I was making a note to myself. Which one is this one? 751?
yes, it is.
What did you say, Commissioner Fan?
I said 1,500.
1,500.
Yeah.
Chairman Bradley.
1,500.
Next item, 752, $1,500 conditional offer.
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next item, 753, a $1,500 conditional offer.
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
I'll accept.
754, a $6,500 conditional offer.
6,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
6,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next item is 755, a $1,500 conditional offer.
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
I think this one should be probably a little higher too, but I will accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next is 756, a $2,000 conditional offer.
I'll accept 2,000.
Commissioner Ford,
Accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept. I thought it was on.
Next is 757, a $2,000 conditional offer.
2,000 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
2,000 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next is 758. It's a conditional offer cancellation and bond claim.
I do cancel and bond.
Commissioner Ford,
Cancel and bond accept.
Chairman Bradley.
I'll accept.
Next is 759, a $4,000 conditional offer.
I'll accept.
Commissioner Ford,
Accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
All right, this next item, as I explained earlier, 760 was left blank. I'm going to suggest now, if everyone's in agreement, we take a 15-minute break. There are two items that were added to the calendar this morning. I don't know if you had a chance to review them yet. And then if you need, a break for any other reason, we can break until noon time if that's agreeable to the members.
Sounds
That
good.
sounds good. And there are 3 suspensions, right?
There are three altogether. You should have received one last night, I believe.
Yes.
And 2 came in like while this meeting's been going on, for the most
Okay.
part.
All right.
Thanks.
So,
Thank you.
all right, thank you. All right, if we're ready, we can resume the meeting.
Tom, can we get 2 more minutes?
Western District.
Okay.
Tom, we're ready. Thank you.
All right, then we're going to resume the calendar. Next item is 761. This is a request for reconsideration of a disapproval of an on-premises liquor license.
So the owner in the reconsideration has offered to accept more restrictions on the license. The hours will be 11 a.m. to midnight, 7 days a week. Background music only, no security, no DJs, no live music, no dancing, and no promoters. They also have a letter from the local assemblyman and in support, and a letter from the Washington BID also in support. But I do want to make a point before we vote on this, that this individual was a manager previously at a place with these same types of restrictions that were placed on the location by the SLA. And while he was a manager there, that licensee violated those restrictions. So just so we are aware, if we are going to do this, it should be on a short leash.
The reconsideration suggests that the SLA should consider that to be historical because it was several years ago. But this individual was issued a summons for having no food, for allowing dancing, for having unlicensed security guards, etc., at that prior location. So, anyway.
That is the new information.
All right, then with that, on the reconsideration, Commissioner Fan.
Given this information, I am really not going to vote to reconsider.
Commissioner Ford.
I will go along with voting to reconsider to consider any additional restrictions in the method of operation proposed by the applicant.
Chairman Bradley.
I'm going to vote to reconsider as well, given the information from the letter of support from the Assemblyman, as well as the agreed method of operation changes.
All right, then, moving on to the application itself, since reconsideration has been granted. Commissioner Fan.
I'm gonna vote to deny, Tom.
Okay. Commissioner Ford.
I have my concerns, but the community board is okay with the stipulations they're willing to agree to, then I'll vote to approve.
With all the conditions outlined in the request.
Yes, yes.
Chairman Bradley.
I will vote the same with all the conditions as, all the stipulations as conditions, and put the licensee on notice that, you know, one significant violation is probably going to be the end, in my view.
All right, then, next item, 762. It's a reconsideration of a disapproval of a change in method of operation.
Yes, I'm gonna vote yes on reconsideration.
Hit me.
Okay,
So
Commissioner
now, so just so the record's clear, that the reconsideration is based on the fact that they are coming back and saying that the community board has approved the change in their method of operation with written stipulations, and that obviously is a change, but it is the only change.
All right, Commissioner Ford on the reconsideration.
Yes, I'll vote to reconsider as well.
Chairman Bradley.
I'll vote to reconsider as well.
Okay, on the application itself then, Commissioner Fan.
I'll vote to approve.
Approve with the community board stipulations then?
Yes, please.
All right, Commissioner Ford.
Yes, with the community board stipulations, if they're okay with it, I'm okay with it.
Chairman Bradley.
In a similar vein, I'm going to vote to approve it with the community board stipulations, but I want to make it clear that the only reason I'm doing this is because the community board has voted to do this. This location, which was approved as a bar tavern, has now become a nightclub. And the community board, because of the stipulations and their approval of these, this method of operation, are really, in my mind, the ones that will be responsible should this be an issue.
Yeah, I'd like to say something else as well in my continuing effort to correct when representations are made and materials that are sent to the board. The licensee claims that the only reason that they pleaded no contest to the charges was because their key witness had passed away, and I do appreciate that was a tragedy that when anybody has passed away from COVID-19 or anything else. But for the record, the report that we have of what took place in January 2020 was not just that there was a slashing out in front of this joint, but that when the police officers went in, they found go-go dancers inside and issued summonses for sexual exposure. Unless that was completely invented out of whole cloth by law enforcement, this does appear to be a place that was not adhering to the restrictions that were on its license at the time. And that will be part of its record going forward. Let's hope that they adhere to these restrictions, because if they don't, they will be repeat offenders in violating the restrictions that were put on the license. And that will have implications for the first time they are disciplined, if that's what happens.
All right, then, we'll move to the next item, 763. It's a $4,000 conditional offer.
4,000 accept.
Commissioner Ford. I didn't get you, Commissioner Ford.
Sorry, 4,000 accept.
Thank you. Chairman Bradley.
I'll accept.
Next item, 764, a $1,500 conditional offer.
Accept 1,500, Tom.
Commissioner Ford.
Accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next item 765, it's a $25,000 conditional offer. The license was summarily suspended back on January 24th.
I actually thought this was too high. I will go to 15,000.
Thank you, Commissioner Fan. Commissioner Ford.
I'll go to 15,000 as well.
Chairman Bradley.
I'll 15,000.
Next item 766, a $1,500 conditional offer. Commissioner Fan.
I will go to 1,000.
Commissioner Ford.
Yeah, I had 1,000 as well. 1,000.
Chairman Bradley.
The licensee has been licensed since 1999 with no adverse history, so I'll decrease the offer to 1,000.
767, $1,500 conditional offer.
I'll take 1,500.
Commissioner Ford.
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
768, this is a new on-premises wine application.
I supported this last time, so I'm gonna go with all the
Whoa,
Canadian stipulations.
whoa. Can I just go through what this is?
Sure.
Tavern bar, 4 to 6 employees, no security, principal to manage, recorded music only, max, apparently max of 20 seats. It's a tavern wine. The applicant was previously denied at this location because storage is in the basement. To access the basement, the employees must exit the premises and use a hallway in a next door residential building. He has reapplied to do the same thing, except now the community board has indicated it's okay to use the residential hallway between the hours of 12 a.m. and 8 a.m.
I just want to correct for the record.
Hold on one second. The place is open now without alcohol. The hours are 11 to 11. Go ahead.
I just want to correct for the record that last portion about the use of that hallway between 12 a.m. and 8 a.m. is not accurate on your memo. It's actually a restriction that they cannot use it from 12 a.m. to 8 a.m.
Right. Midnight to 8 a.m.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right, with that then, Commissioner Fan.
I'm gonna vote to approve with all the CB stipulations.
Commissioner Ford.
The community board steps in stipulation 11 says, if it is in fact permitted to use the residential hallway, CB2 Manhattan maintains this is a highly objectionable use. There will be no use of the common hallway between 12 a.m. and 8 a.m. Furthermore, all food and prep items for each day's service will only be moved prior to the beginning of service and after service has concluded, not throughout the day. So that's the deal maker for me. Otherwise than that, I was going to vote against this. So I will vote to approve.
All right, Chairman Bradley.
I'm going to vote to deny for 2 reasons. One, it's illegal. In order for them to use a storage area that is not contiguous to the area where they're serving, in this instance, they're required to actually leave the restaurant or the tavern, go outside, go into a residential building, down the hallway where people live, and then go into the basement to get their storage of alcohol and then carry it out of the licensed area in the basement to an unlicensed area, outside again and back into the premises. This isn't a warehouse permit they're asking for. They're asking us to license 2 floors that are not connected to each other.
So
There's no soundproofing. And the other issue, I don't care what the CB says, there's no indication here that the residents of the building, or we have no indication they're even aware of it. But I don't care what the hours are. Crime happens in the middle of the day just as easily as it happens at night. And these people I'm picturing senior citizens that live in this building potentially that would be seeing strange people walking down their hallways during the day or in the morning or wherever it is. And I think it's a safety issue as well as it being illegal and against the ABC law. So I'm voting to deny it.
Well, if it's all that, then I can't vote to approve it. Is that what you're telling me?
You can vote to do anything you want. I'm not telling you that. That's the way I read the law. But I'm not telling you you can't vote for it.
Can we go to, can I have
Change
a session with council, please?
Sure.
All right, so we'll take a brief. Go ahead, Gary.
Call my cell, Commissioner Ford.
Okay.
All right, we're going to take a brief recess of the meeting while there's a conference with council with the members.
Tom, I'm going to be right back.
All right, if we're all set, we'll go back on the record on item 768 after a conference with council among one or more of the members.
Yeah, I'm going to change my vote to a deny.
Okay, we all set then? All right. The next item, 769, is a new on-premises liquor license application.
Restaurant with 12 to 14 employees, no security, principals to manage, recorded music only, no private, will not close for private events. Max occupancy 74 people, 25 tables with 60 seats at them. There is also 9 seats at the bar. The principals do have experience. The prior license here was revoked in 2019 due to a significant adverse history. There is no protests. They are currently on a temp. And
Chairman, I think you're looking at the wrong item.
no, it's Lotus West, right?
769.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did look at the wrong item, sorry. This is a restaurant with 4 employees, no security, and principal to manage full-time. They want karaoke recorded and live music, no dancing, no private events, no promoters. Occupancy is 40, 12 tables with seats for 26. They have no experience. The hours, Sunday to Thursday, 7:30 to 7:30, which seems odd. Friday and Saturday, 7:30 to 12 a.m. There are multiple protests from residents as well as the community board. The community board does have stipulations, but the community board has indicated they are not complying even with the stipulations while this place is on a temp. There are three 311 calls for noise already, and according to the community board, the double parking in front of this location is a huge issue. It's a street that there are residents above the location and across the street from location, and they are complaining about noise already.
Yeah, just to add to that, there's apparently an off ramp or a road that comes off of the Henry Hudson Parkway right there, and there's already a lot of traffic on the streets, and with patrons double parking to pick up food and the like, it becomes more traffic. There's noise, it honks, it goes into late in the evening. Also, the principal is a nurse who says she's going to manage full time, but is keeping her job as a nurse, and she lives in Hackensack, New Jersey.
All right, with that then, Commissioner Fan, are you ready to vote?
Yes, given everything that Chairman and Council said, I'm going to vote to deny.
Commissioner Ford?
The place was previously licensed as the Cloister Deli, and it has no past adverse history from 2014 to 2020. But as a deli, what was that, like a grocery, beer, something like that? What type of license was that? Oh, restaurant wine. I'm sorry, I see it right here in front of me. Sorry, Adam. And in the objections, there wasn't one mention of any adverse history because I guess there wasn't any in their previous licensing. So I guess I can conclude that that wasn't an issue before. How long have they been operating under a temp, Mr. Roberts?
Just one moment. October. Since October of last year.
Since October. And anything reported since then?
No, other than some 311 complaints, as the chairman mentioned, but nothing directly to us.
And the letters that we received in protest and the community board's protest.
Okay.
It is not a 500-foot case, however.
An issue was raised of it being within 200 feet of a church as well. I don't know if that's anything.
According to our proximity report, it looks like the church is actually closer to 300 feet away.
Okay. All right.
So it'd be a non-issue there.
With all that being said, I think I'm going to vote to deny as well.
All right, Chairman Bradley.
I'm going to vote to deny as well. The street just sounds like it's completely inappropriate to have a place like this. There's already double parking issues while they're on a temp, and there appear to be, based on the letter from the community board, that they're not operating within the STIPs that they've agreed to operate under. Residents are already complaining about noise. There are 311 calls for noise. And as Gary pointed out, the manager, even with all this going on, the owner, I should say, who says she's going to manage, has a full-time job outside of New York State, right?
Well, I don't know where she works. I just
Oh, well,
saw
she lives in
her
Jersey,
residences in New Jersey.
which certainly is within driving distance of this location, but another full-time job on top of this seems not really to be the best idea given what's going on here already. So I'm going to vote to deny.
The next item is 770. This is a new on-premises liquor license application.
This is the one I went through before. It's a restaurant with 12 to 14 employees, no security principals to manage, recorded music only, no private events, max occupancy 74, 25 tables with 60 seats, 9 seats at the bar. The principals do have experience. The ALJ said no public interest, mostly because it appears that they have already been doing or operating contrary to what they told the community board they would be, which was a seafood restaurant. It looks like they have split, based on what the ALJ said and the community board, it looks like they have split the premise into 2 separate premises, and also in their own letter admitted to having a private party inside, which they indicated in their application they were not going to do. This place previously, the previous licensee here was a big issue for the agency, which led to the revocation. The applicant indicated that they've pretty much admitted that they did split the premise, but the reason being that it was related to COVID and they were using one portion of it to do only takeout, and they've indicated that should they be permanently licensed, they will go back to doing what they said they would be doing, which is a seafood restaurant under a different name than what they're operating under right now.
Yeah, just to follow up, there doesn't appear to be a connection to the prior licensee who was revoked. The explanation is a little fishy. They say they were hosting small private parties behind paper-covered windows with no alcohol, and so they were food only, and yet they added a sign that said South American Wine Bar. I guess that's wine food they were serving in there. So it may be that they just got caught doing something, to tide themselves over during COVID. But they are experienced operators, and in theory, if they adhered to their applied for method of operation, it would. I don't know that there would have been an issue with there was no other issue cited in the 500-foot hearing.
Just so it's clear that the community board has expressed that they do have concerns as a result of the activities that occurred while the application was pending, but they have not revoked
Correct.
their stipulations and approval of the license itself at this point. They just want us to be aware of their concerns. So,
In their letter, March 10th, they said their recommendation remains denial unless the attached stipulations are agreed to and signed by the applicant. Do we have those stipulations signed by the applicant? Because I don't see it in a supplement. Maybe it's in the mail.
It's in the actual application, Commissioner Ford.
Yeah, I believe they've complied with that condition, the signing, and the community board was just saying we're holding them to it
Okay.
because they seem to wander away from it.
Member, if it's okay with you, I'm going to ask that this matter actually be held over to licensing until the next board meeting.
Why?
Or do you not want to say?
They have to straighten out the dual names as well, which maybe they have.
Three 331, Adam?
Yeah, if we can, you know,
Okay.
I have some concerns I'd like to look into before the members decide on this, and I'll make sure that we're presenting that at the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll hold over 331 for a review by the licensing board. Chairman, you're good with that?
Yeah, yes.
The next item, 771. It's a new package store license application.
Package store, 3,270 square feet. 2,700 of it will be retail. The store will have 3 employees. The principal will manage. The principal has no experience. This location actually was previously, or currently is her restaurant, which she does have an OP in, I believe. The closest store is 0.6 miles away. There are 5 within 1 mile. All 5 are in Larchmont, which is a small village. It appears there are 6 stores within the village. The opposition says there are 7 stores within 1.5 miles. There are 3 protests. Go ahead, Tom. That's all I got. It's not bulletproof, and none of the other stores are either.
Yeah, the applicant says that this is a growth town, citing a whopping 3.8% population increase from 2010. The rest of the
3.8 over 10 years.
Yeah. The rest of the arguments for this being a growth town really go to the wealth of the people who live there and the property values and median income and the like, and not to any influx of new people or construction or anything like that. This is a village in Westchester. 6,000 people, 7 stores within 1.5 miles.
And for the record, members, there was an application filed relatively close to this proposed premises in 2017 that was disapproved. The address there was 2417 Boston Post Road. In that application, similar arguments were made about why it'd be public convenience advantage as far as the wealth of the community, and the members that disapproved that application at that time.
All right then, Commissioner Fan?
As council said, perhaps too many stores for a small village of people, so I don't see public convenience advantage. I'm going to vote to deny.
Commissioner Ford?
I did a little digging into this, and as Deputy Commissioner Roberts noted, there was another store called Bottle House that we denied in 2017 on Boston Post Road that literally is like a couple hundred yards away by my estimation. So this would be almost like just about where we denied one before. And with the same argument, as he said, was made in 2017 about the affluence of the area and the growth of the area, which was about, our calculation was by about 300 people back then. I don't think it's changed much since then. So I really don't see the need for another store, just as Commissioner Bradley, Chairman Bradley and I way back then denied it as well. So I'm voting to deny this one as well, too.
Chairman Bradley?
I'm going to vote to deny as well. I don't see any public convenience and advantage. The fact that a village or area is affluent, I don't think indicates that the consumption of alcohol goes up, or at least I hope it doesn't. But the population is obviously stagnant, even given by the numbers that they have given us. And I don't see anything that's going to be offered by this store that has not been offered by the other stores already.
Next item, 772. It's a new package store license application.
This is a Queens package store, 1,558 square feet, 880 of that is retail. It's not bulletproof. Store with 2 employees, principal will hire a manager. The applicant does have experience, and that as in that he used to own a liquor store in Queens with no adverse history. The owner will also keep his other job. 0.4 miles is the closest store. There were 5 within 8 miles. I'm sorry, there were 5 within 0.8 miles. And the opposition indicates that there are 7 stores in under a mile. None of the closest stores, I'm sorry, the second closest store is bulletproof. The rest of them are not bulletproof. And the applicant is also not bulletproof. We do not have a protest. Oh, so I take that back. I'm not aware of a protest. I looked it up, and there are 7 stores in under a mile.
Right.
All right, then, Commissioner Fan?
As Chairman described, there are too many stores in close proximity. The 2 of the 5 stores are showing significant decline in numbers. There are 2 others that did not respond, and 1 that is struggling along. So I'm going to vote to deny.
Commissioner Ford?
As Commissioner Fan noted, the numbers are somewhat telling here, although 2 of the closest 5 did not respond, but the ones that did, their numbers are kind of 2, 1, 5, 1, 6, kind of like just holding their own. And 1 is actually declining. So I'm going to vote to deny as well.
Chairman Bradley?
I'm going to vote to deny that. The 3rd closest store was opened in 2017. The population in this area is stagnant, and there are, as I indicated, 7 stores in under a mile. I think that which means they're all within 15-minute walk, and it's a walking community. I don't think there's any public convenience and advantage to adding another one.
Next item, 773, it's a new on-premises wine application.
The picture.
Restaurant wine with 3 employees, no security, principal to manage, jukebox, music, no dancing, will not close for private events. The previous license at this location was canceled in March of 2020. The prior license here that was canceled, the applicant is related to the former owners of that license and did not disclose that on their application originally, but it has been disclosed at this point. At that time, it was supposed to be an eating place beer, but was operating as a bar with no food. Went to hearing, and the owners then, based on my review of the hearing, lied about it and indicated that there was food available, even though the kitchen did not work. That's all I got.
Yeah, the former licensee, Rena, is the half-sister of the applicant, and the applicant is keeping the DBA as Rena's Cafe. Although he does write a letter saying that he learned about the location from his half-sister, and she's not going to be involved going forward. He is a truck driver who's, I believe, is continuing his occupation.
All right, then. Commissioner Fan, are you ready to vote?
Despite the decision to disclose the relationship with the prior licensee, I'm just not confident that this licensee is completely independent. So for now, I'm going to vote to deny.
Commissioner Ford?
For the same reasons, I'm voting to deny as well. I'm just not comfortable that what we're being told is the reality of it all. So I'm voting to deny.
Chairman Bradley?
I'm going to vote to deny. In my view, the previous owner here is clearly involved. They operated illegally previously, then lied about it when they got caught. And while this individual, I have no question, could get a license, I don't understand why he would need one if he actually was going to run a business at this exact location.
All right, the next item is 774. It's a on-premises liquor license transfer.
This is a tavern, transfer of a tavern, 15 to 20 employees, no security, principals to manage, recorded music, DJ and dancing, will close for private events. Max occupancy 75 with seats for 30 people. There's a rear yard with seats for 20 people. There's also 19 seats at the bar inside. The principals have no experience, but their manager does have some experience. The place was previously licensed with no history. There is no protest. It will have the same method of operation as the old location. The ALJ indicated no public interest because, once again, the public interest statement was not sufficient. And my review of the public interest statement agrees with her decision. If it was adequately, if this statement, just so everyone watching this, if this statement had been adequately completed by the representative, this license probably would have been approved at the licensing board and would not have to have gone here. So that contributed to the delay. It is a 500-foot case.
All right, then, Commissioner Fan, are you ready to vote?
Yes, Tom. Based on the clean record on the temp and the prior license location, I will vote to approve.
Commissioner Ford,
You're muted.
I think the licensee's representative, Elke Hoffman, did a nice job in the supplemental of addressing all the ALJ's concerns. This place has had a clean history, this location, for I think 2 decades or something like that. So with no history, same MO, all that kind of stuff, no protest or response from the community board. So I'm voting to approve.
Chairman Bradley.
I'm going to vote to approve.
All right, the next item, 775. It's an alteration application for a package store.
This is alteration to a package store. Currently, it's 3,451 square feet. 1,143 of that is retail. They want to go to 4,686 square feet. 2,406 of that will be retail. The closest store is 4.9 miles away. There are another 4 within 6.5 miles. There's no protest. The store's been open since 1985. It does have some adverse history, but it's minimal, particularly for that long a period of time.
All right, then, Commissioner Fan.
Since they've been in business for 40-something years, the closest store is 5 miles away. They have very, very limited adverse history. They have probably earned their right to expand their store, so I wholeheartedly vote to approve.
Commissioner Ford.
This is a longtime family store that looks like it's being prepped to be passed down to the next couple of generations. It's up in Lewiston. Lewiston is north of Niagara Falls. So every store that is near this is down in Niagara Falls. There's nothing around this store. I looked at this one quite a bit, and it's been in business since like 1985. I was in tour with the Beach Boys back then. That's how long this has been. So all the other stores are increasing sales except for one, and I don't think anything is even close to being being relevant to this store. So I vote to approve.
Chairman Bradley.
I'm going to vote to approve as well for all the reasons of both commissioners.
All Next item, 776, it's $11,000 conditional offer. This license was summarily suspended back in November. Commissioner Fan,
I will accept 11,000, sorry.
Commissioner Ford,
11,000 accepted.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next is 777. It's an offer of cancellation of bond claim for a license that's been summarily suspended and was put in safekeeping just prior to that, it looks like. Commissioner Fan?
Can I ask you a question, please, first? It says in the notes that we impose a emergency summary order suspension on 12/21/20, 12/12, must be 20. License was placed in safekeeping on 9/17/20. So were they operating without a license?
They were operating with their license in safekeeping.
Okay. All righty then. Sorry, Commissioner Fan, didn't mean to interrupt you.
You didn't interrupt me.
Commissioner Fan,
Yes, I will accept.
Commissioner Ford,
Accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
778, it's a $20,000 conditional offer for a license that's been summarily suspended since January 29th. Commissioner Fan,
I will accept 20,000.
Commissioner Ford,
20,000 I will accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
779, $1,500 conditional offer.
I will accept 1,500.
Commissioner Ford,
They've been in business since 1988. Nothing really to speak of as far as an adverse history since 2002. So I will go down to 1,000.
Chairman Bradley,
I'll accept.
780, it's a $1,500 conditional offer.
I will accept.
Commissioner Ford,
Accept.
Chairman Bradley.
I'll accept.
781, a $1,500 conditional offer. Commissioner Fan,
I will accept.
Commissioner Ford,
Accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
782, a $1,500 conditional offer.
I will accept.
Commissioner Ford,
Accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
783, it's a request to extend the deadline to meet the conditions of approval. Commissioner Fan,
I'm sorry, I lost my 783. I'm sorry, I don't know what happened.
While you're looking for it, let me do it. 783, right, Tom?
yes, sir.
Condition approval went out February 28th, 2019. The 18-month expiration was August 28th, 2020. We have previously approved an extension to March 9th of 2021. They are now asking for 6/9/21. Their reasoning saying construction was halted due to pandemic for 12 months.
They actually asked for 6 months, which basically will bring us to 9/9/21. I think the memo is.
Oh, I must have written I must have transposed my numbers. So they want 9/6/21?
No,
I
it's-
believe so.
applicant is requesting an additional 6-month extension to 6/9/21.
I know, but the memo is wrong. The letter doesn't say that. The letter says 6 months from March. You know
Oh,
what I'm saying?
yeah, you're right. You're right.
So they're requesting 9/9/21. Okay.
Yes, 9/9/21. I'm okay with it. And Chairman is okay with it.
I'm okay with it too.
I'm no.
Chairman Bradley?
Yeah, I'm no.
All right, 784. It's a $2,500 conditional offer.
I thought this was. I'll take 2,500.
Commissioner Ford,
2,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
785 to $2,500 conditional offer.
I'll take 2,500.
Commissioner Ford,
Accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
786, a $1,500 conditional offer. Commissioner Fan,
Yes, I'll accept.
Commissioner Ford,
Accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
787, a $1,500 conditional offer. Commissioner Fan,
I'll accept 1,500.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
788, a $2,500 conditional offer.
2,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
2,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
789, a $2,000 conditional offer. Commissioner Fan,
I'll accept 2,000.
Commissioner Ford,
Accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
790, a $1,500 conditional offer.
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
791, a $1,500 conditional offer.
I'll accept 1,500.
Commissioner Ford,
Accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
792 is a $1,500 conditional offer.
I'll go to 1,000.
Commissioner Ford,
No history since 1998. I'll do 1,000.
Chairman Bradley.
1,000.
793, a $1,500 conditional offer. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Commissioner Fan.
Sorry, 1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
794, a $2,500 conditional offer.
I'll accept 2,500.
Commissioner Ford,
2,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
795 was held over from the last meeting. It's a request for declaratory ruling.
Yeah, just for the record, I asked that this be held over because I was concerned about relying entirely on the requester's factual information. And since last meeting, we have an independent verification of a non-exclusive use here of this location as a church. So my concerns have been addressed.
All right, then with that, Commissioner Fan,
I'm going to vote in the affirmative to support a declaratory ruling to state that the building at 2230 Frederick Douglass Boulevard is not barred by the 200-foot rule.
Commissioner Ford,
I vote the same as Commissioner Fan to approve.
All right, Chairman Bradley.
I'll support the declaratory ruling that this is not within 200 feet of a church. Building is actually not a church.
Next items 796, 810A, 810B. It's a $2,500 conditional offer. This license was summarily suspended back in January 22nd. Commissioner Fan,
I'll be willing to lower this to 15,000.
Commissioner Ford,
I'm just going to accept.
Chairman Bradley.
I'll accept.
Next item is 798. This is a offer of cancellation and bond claim for a license that was summarily suspended back in February.
I'll take cancel and bond.
Commissioner Ford,
Cancel and bond, accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Cancel and bond.
Next item, 799 and 800. This is an offer of cancellation and bond claim for a license that was summarily suspended back in August.
I take cancel and bond.
Joining, if you could please mute your lines. I'm sorry, Commissioner Ford,
Cancel and bond, accepted.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next item is 801. This was held over. This is an offer of $15,000. The license was summarily suspended back on December 30th.
Yeah, the concern here and the reason it was held over was because although the fine might be appropriate if all of the matters that caused the violations were addressed, we didn't have that information. We now have a letter from the licensee that addresses most but not all of the violations, but critically, the licensee's letter concedes that while they've applied for the health permit that is needed to serve food and beverages in New York City, they do not have it yet. So under Executive Order 202.52, which requires alcoholic beverages to be served with food, without a health permit, they can't comply with that executive order. And there's also an issue that I think they didn't understand the flame-proofing curtains issue, which they could certainly call their prosecutor to coordinate to understand what that charge was, why they need a flame-proofing certificate for something that's hanging in their premises. So the offer, while the offer might be the appropriate amount, it's not clear how long it will be before this licensee can comply with the executive orders, and they can't serve alcohol until they can.
All right then, Commissioner Fan.
I'm okay with council's suggestion to wait for the health permit before giving the liquor license back.
Yeah, well, I'm not suggesting that we hold this over or make it conditional. The issue with approving a CNC conditionally or making an offer that gets approved is that then the clock could end up starting to run on the obligation to make the payment before they even know if they can operate. So I guess my recommendation would be that the CNC just be denied, with giving them the opportunity to bring it back as soon as they are permitted to serve food, as soon as they have the permit.
Oh, sorry, fair enough. Okay, so just deny the offer.
All right, Commissioner Ford,
Yeah, offer rejected.
Chairman Bradley,
Same here.
802, it's a $2,500 conditional offer. Commissioner Fan,
Sorry, I'll take 2,500.
Commissioner Ford,
2,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley,
I'll accept.
803, it's a no contest plea. License was summarily suspended back on February 1st.
I'm gonna set the penalty at 20,000.
Commissioner Ford,
20,000.
Chairman Bradley,
What'd they say, both 20,000?
yes.
Yes, I'll be 20 as well.
Next is 804, it's a $1,500 conditional offer.
I'll take 1,500.
Commissioner Ford,
I'll accept 1,500.
Chairman Bradley,
I'll accept.
next is 805 and 806. It's a $20,000 conditional offer for a license that was merely suspended back in January. And just so you know, the license is expired. It has not been renewed as of today, or yesterday, actually.
I'll accept 20,000.
Commissioner Ford,
20,000 accept.
Chairman Bradley,
I'll accept.
next is 807. It's a $1,500 conditional offer.
I'll accept 1,500.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accepted.
Chairman Bradley,
Accept.
808, to request for reconsideration of a extension to comply with the conditional approval, or denial of that, I should say.
This was conditionally approved on March 1st, 2019, extended to March 1st, 2020, extended again to September 1st at their request of 2020. And then the full board recently extended it until 3/21/21. They're asking for reconsideration because that's not long enough. They need a 6-month extension. And they give us absolutely no explanation why. They say they can't fulfill the conditions, although there were 6 conditions listed on the letter of approval, and it's, having read them, it's hard to believe they wouldn't be able to fill all 6 today.
All right,
Yes.
so with that, Commissioner Fan,
Yeah, I agree with the chairman. There's nothing in here that tells me why I need to continue to extend this final extension that we all agreed on last time. So vote to deny.
Commissioner Ford,
Yeah, my comments to myself was what delays? And there's no explanation provided. So I'm going to vote to deny as well.
Chairman Bradley,
I'm voting to deny.
809, request for reconsideration. The matter was before you on February 17th. You opposed the penalty of cancellation and bond claim with a pleading default. Commissioner,
Yeah, we learned that from the licensee that, although I don't know that we got this before the board ruled, that they are pleading not guilty, and we do have their not guilty plea by fax, and they're asking us to consider their defenses and or discuss settlement, et cetera. So we request that this be returned, that the reconsideration be granted and that the case be returned to counsel's office.
Commissioner Fan,
That's fine, thank you.
Commissioner Ford,
Good with me.
Chairman Bradley,
I'll accept.
You're gonna accept?
I'll accept.
You mean you're gonna grant reconsideration and send it back to council's office?
Yeah.
Okay. 810 is a $1,500 conditional offer.
I'll take 1,500.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500, accept.
Chairman Bradley.
I'll accept.
810C, it's a $13,000 conditional offer for a license that was summarily suspended on February 5th.
I'll accept 13,000.
Commissioner Ford,
I'll accept 13,000 as well.
Chairman Bradley.
I'll accept 13.
810D, $5,000 conditional order offer. License was summarily suspended February 1st.
I will accept 5,000.
Commissioner Ford,
Due to their long history since 1987, clean, I'll accept it. Otherwise, it would be higher, but I'll accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
810E, it's an offer of $7,500 for a license that was summarily suspended on February 3rd. This license is currently expired. Commissioner Fan,
I'm going to counter at 15,000.
Commissioner Ford,
Yeah, I'll go 15,000 as well.
Chairman Bradley.
15,000.
810F, $10,000 conditional offer. The license was summarily suspended on March 13th. Commissioner Fan,
I'll accept 10,000.
Commissioner Ford,
10,000 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
10,000.
810G, a $50,000 conditional offer. His license was summarily suspended on January 13th, and there was a prior summary suspension back in November.
Just for the record, there was a mitigation letter from the owner, which I found persuasive, in that basically he acknowledges the wrongdoing and he has completely overhauled his staff, and has made it clear that this will not happen again, even though it has happened twice.
Yeah, it appears the conduct was as a result of a manager who was running the place, and the manager's been terminated. Although the owner does take responsibility for what happened on his watch.
All right, Commissioner Fan,
All right, I'm encouraged by your positive comments. I will accept 50,000, but let's all agree that there will not be a third time.
Commissioner Ford,
I'll accept the 50,000 as well.
Chairman Bradley.
I will as well, and concur with Commissioner Fan that I don't believe there will be a third time, one way or the other.
810H, this is a $15,000 conditional offer. The license was summarily suspended back on January 8th.
I look at the evidence in this. I would be willing to lower this to 10,000.
Commissioner Ford,
I'm going to accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
Next, I have 810I. This is a request for reconsideration. Back on February 10th, you rejected a licensee's offer of $10,000. You issued a counteroffer of $30,000. The licensee is now proposing $15,000. License been summarily suspended.
Yeah,
Next.
yeah, I was gonna say, the reconsideration request includes statements from the owner of the location, who has now offered an explanation for why he had to go to Egypt, and he claims that he has returned. But the explanation for what happened on in his premises shortly after being licensed in this location is very general. He says that he re-instructed his manager and employees to as to all the rules, kind of generally like that. This is a location that was found to have untaxed cigarettes essentially in a secret compartment behind the counter, and to be openly selling large quantities of marijuana in glass jars on the counter. I'm not sure how that, how the trap door got there or any of that, but it's not addressed. And the owner certainly doesn't say that he had a rogue manager who was doing all this unexpectedly, and he doesn't deal with any of the details of these violations, which are significant indications of intentional breaking of the law.
All right, with that, Commissioner Fan.
Where I really want to be is at cancel and bond, so I'm gonna stick with 30,000.
Commissioner Ford.
I'll split the
Bill?
difference, and I would go to 20,000.
Chairman Bradley.
So what's before the board is whether to reconsider the counter offer that was already made.
Then if we reconsider, then
Right.
we go into numbers.
Correct.
All right, then I'm rejecting the counteroffer.
I will go with no reconsideration.
Let's back up a second. Commissioner Fan has denied the request for reconsideration. Commissioner Ford, I was taking your vote as granting reconsideration and proposing 20,000. All right, so are you granting reconsideration?
If you're at 30,000, then not, I guess, right?
So if you deny reconsideration, the counteroffer stays at 30,000. If you want to suggest a different counteroffer, then you'd be granting reconsideration and coming up with a new number. So do you want to reconsider the counteroffer? Commissioner Ford?
Well, she hasn't voted yet.
Yeah, Commissioner Fan voted not to reconsider.
Not to reconsider. I'm sorry. I was waiting for her. I'm going to vote not to reconsider as well then.
Chairman Bradley?
I will do the same.
Misunderstood what we're doing here. I'm sorry.
No, that's
All
it.
right. The next items are A10J, K, L, and M. They are a group of proposed advisories. I'll take them one at a time. A10J is an extension of the current deferral on the collection of civil penalties in cases not involving a summary suspension.
Yes, I will vote to support extending the collection of civil penalties and imposition of alternate penalties from March 31 to April 30.
All right, Commissioner Ford,
I will vote to extend to April 30th as well.
Chairman Bradley.
I will do the same.
Next item is A10K, which deals with conditional approvals for applicants with temporary retail permits. Deputy Commissioner Licensing Roberts, you want to add in anything on this?
Yeah, 810K members just seeks to clarify what had already existed. When the delegation of authority or power to licensing allows them to grant extensions if a licensee is not operating on a temporary retail permit. So this advisory just seeks to clarify that if you extend or applicant requesting to extend your conditional approval, you may not continue to get temporary retail permits after the original 6 months.
All right, so with that explanation, Commissioner Fan?
Commissioner Roberts, what's the thinking behind that?
So the thought is that when we issue a temporary retail permit, you're basically attesting that you're ready to open and operate. So the thought that you shouldn't need additional time beyond the 6 months to satisfy conditions, because when you got your temporary retail permit, you should have already had these things in place.
Okay.
So that if you do require, based on the advisory that issued last year for extensions beyond the 18 months total, that you would be able to get an extension if you needed to satisfy requirements. You just wouldn't be able to continue to operate. And again, it's a clarification of a policy that's been in place.
So help me understand under what scenario someone would be holding a temp, in theory, operating with a temp, but then still need extensions.
Yeah, so there are certain things that we don't require at the time of issuing a temporary retail permit. So some of these certifications, some of these certificates, we don't get up front, but we do make them certify that they are ready to open and operate, which then suggests that they already have all these things in place. So the thought behind it is if it exceeds the 6 months, you should have already had these things in place and therefore shouldn't be allowed to operate on a certificate or a temporary retail permit.
Okay. And so how does it, the mechanics, how does it actually work? I mean, like, so when the extension is approved by licensing board, like at the same time the temp gets canceled or they have to send it back or something? Because this is not explaining how the mechanics would work.
Yeah, the process itself. So if somebody is exceeding the 6 months past their original conditional approval, they would notify licensing that they need additional time, and we would either grant or deny that request. If they're operating a temporary retail permit, we could grant the extension for the conditional approval, but we would no longer approve extensions on the retail permit.
I see. So you just let that expire. You're not going to cancel it. You just let it run its course and then
we would let the last 30 days that they the last 30 days that they applied for run its course, but we wouldn't issue any new ones after that time.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right, and with that, Commissioner Fan,
Yes, I will vote to approve as written. Thank you.
Commissioner Ford,
I too vote to approve as written.
Chairman Bradley.
I vote to approve.
The next one is 810L. This is an extension of the waiver for the for putting licenses in safekeeping.
I vote to support extending the safekeeping requirement waiver and extending it to April 30.
Commissioner Ford,
I vote to extend it to April 30th as well.
Chairman Bradley.
I vote to extend as well.
The last proposed advisory is the 810M, which is the extension of, with some modifications, of the waiver of the requirement to file your renewal fees with your renewal application.
And I will vote to support the submission of renewal applications without the required fees, extending the due date from March 31 to April 30.
Commissioner Ford
I vote to extend to April 30th as well.
and Chairman Bradley.
I'll vote to extend as well.
All right. The next items we have 3 items which are all requests from the counsel's office for emergency orders of summary suspension. 810N, is the Old Man Inc.
Good afternoon, members of the board.
Mark.
This licensee is located at 24 Water Street in the village of Fredonia. The SLA received multiple complaints in the last few weeks regarding executive order violations. On March 13th, 2021, SLA investigators found in excess of 150 patrons inside, many of whom were standing, drinking, mingling without face masks, without social distancing. The maximum capacity is 210. So they were at least 45 patrons over that total. It was so crowded that the SLA investigators called the police, and the police, when they first arrived, called additional police. There was no food being served on the premises, so this was not a dining experience. The owner admitted that things got out of control. As you can see from the photos that are attached, they depict a pre-COVID college town bar scene, except that this is not pre-COVID, this is during a pandemic. So the licensee was allowing a drinking-only establishment, not adhering to DOH guidance on occupancy, face coverings, or social distancing. And in doing so, created conditions that are conducive to the spread of the virus during a pandemic, endangering the health and lives of the community. Council's office therefore respectfully requests an emergency order of summary suspension to protect the public health, safety, and welfare.
All right, Commissioner Fan, do you have any questions?
Mark, how long has this location been licensed?
Less than 2 years.
Okay. And do they have any search history?
No.
And you said there were complaints, but were there prior EO violations?
There were complaints regarding the EO violations, but they were not, this was the first actual investigation, so there are not prior founded violations.
Got it. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Ford, any questions?
Nope, I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Chairman Bradley.
No, I have no questions.
All right, with that, I'll call for the vote of the members. First, Commissioner Fan.
Based on evidence presented by Council Faring, this licensee continues to violate the governor's executive order surrounding COVID-19. This location is an imminent threat to public health, safety, and welfare. I vote to summarily suspend this license.
Commissioner Ford.
Based on evidence presented by council, I find this location to be a threat to the public health, safety, and welfare, and I vote to summarily suspend.
Chairman Bradley.
I'm gonna vote to summarily suspend. It's clear based on the presentation as well as the pictures submitted that this licensee is a threat to the public health, safety, and welfare.
Right then, the next item I have is 810-0. It's 183 Rio Restaurant, Inc.
Good afternoon, members. This is Margarita Marcico on behalf of Council's office, requesting that the members issue an order of summary suspension pursuant to the State Administrative Procedure Act. With regard to 183 Rio Restaurant doing business as Smalls Jazz Club, which is located at 183 West 10th Street. The SLA investigated this premise due to receiving numerous complaints alleging in substance that the licensee was violating executive orders by permitting live performances, no food service, and lack of social distancing. And some of the complaints, the residents actually complained that other well-known music venues like the Bitter End, et cetera, were all closed. And it was disturbing that they could see people going in and out of this premise when they knew that this appeared to be violating the law. The investigator, Stravale, went on March 12th at about 7:58 p.m. He entered, he was followed by by a manager. He observed a 4-piece live band performing in the basement. This was also the subject of concern for some of the residents who were familiar with this premise, and they all indicated this is a very small basement, not a large area, and they didn't seem to recall they had very good ventilation. So the investigator saw someone smoking. The owner later identified the person as a bartender. He was smoking an unknown substance, and there was also evidence of cigarette butts on the floor. The investigator counted 29 patrons inside when the maximum occupancy should have been 16, since their maximum occupancy under the certificate of occupancy is 48. So 35% should have been 16, but the licensee had almost twice that amount of just patrons. There was no sit-down dining. This premise is, I'd confirm with licensing, this premise is classified as a bar tavern. So there was no sit-down dining, but there also was not appropriate finger foods being served. The only food that investigator Stravali observed were olives, nuts, and some sandwiches that were in the refrigerator, but were not being served to all the patrons. So there was no food being served to the patrons. The patrons, as you can see from the photographs, were sitting side by side on the counter and the chairs. They were not all wearing masks. It's obvious that they're there for the purpose of watching the music. As you can see in the pictures, they're all facing the musicians. The musicians were within 3 feet of the first row of patrons, which violates the Department of Health guidelines. And the investigator noted that when this set of music finished, the patrons all immediately stood up, to indicate that this is the reason they were there. They mingled for a bit, but they all stood up as soon as the music stopped. The licensing principal, as I indicated, was present, and his manager was there. Neither of them were wearing their face mask properly. Their noses were exposed, and the investigator asked them to please cover their nose, as he was talking to them for a period of time, and they would not cover their nose. So the investigator was forced to deal with them at a close distance with their nose uncovered. There was no kitchen, and the investigator did speak to the owner, and he came to find out that there's a Smalls Life Foundation, Inc., which is allegedly a not-for-profit corporation, and whatever money the patrons pay to get into see these sets of music, each set cost $20 from what we could see on the website of the Smalls Live Foundation, which is promoting these music events. The licensee told the investigator that this money is given to the Smalls Live Foundation, Inc. So in essence, this bar tavern is sharing its profits with the Smalls Live Foundation, Inc. So they're being charged with availing for that. The investigator indicated the licensee was generally not that cooperative with him during this initial investigation. He was saying he was being harassed by the neighbors. He demanded to know who the neighbors were that were complaining, and that this was all part of cancel culture. The investigator took the time to give, as we've known from other investigations investigators have done, he takes a lot of time in going through his checklist and giving them a written and verbal warning that they have to stop violating the executive orders. They discussed the playing of live music. They're required to serve food and to stay within the occupancy capacity. And the investigator noted that basically he was being ignored because he noticed that as he's finishing up his investigation, the licensee was all set to call in the next batch of patrons who were going to watch the second set of the same band playing live music. So that was not a very good indication, but the investigator was there. I don't know if he had backup with him. I don't know if he had other investigators. He may have been alone during this inspection. In addition to this, the licensee was violating numerous fire life safety violations. He also violated several alcohol beverage control laws, like he had no books and records. He, again, was non-bona fide because he wasn't serving food. He had unsecured compressed gas tanks, defective exit lights, unmounted fire extinguishers, no open flame permit, although he had lit candles inside uninspected fire extinguishers. So it's clear to us, as it was to the people complaining to us, that this licensee is a threat to the public safety, so we're requesting that the members issue an order of summary suspension.
Thank you, Margarita. I just want to add that we have had guidance, the SLA has had guidance on its website to address the fact that music entertainment venues have been closed since last March. And there's now a proposal to have them reopen, some reopened under very, very strict controls, but you can't have a concert in Madison Square Garden any more than you can have one in a restaurant. And that's why our guidance expressly says that to advertise and ticket music events, it's a violation. And one of the reasons for that rule is the concern and the difference between people arriving and leaving at the same time for live music events, which increases the chance of mingling across parties who didn't come together as being a distinct activity from a dining experience where you only arrive with the party you came with and leave at staggered times. So in addition to all of the other social distancing and other restrictions that were violated, there's also a clear violation of our guidance on live music performances.
All right, Commissioner Fan, do you have any questions?
Yes, I actually would like to get some clarification on what's actually allowed right now and what's not, because I thought that on February 23rd, there was a change in the EO as far as ticketed events go. Is that not accurate?
I believe it doesn't apply to restaurants. There are some venues that have been, I believe, are permitted to, with additional precautions taken, to have ticketed events. But
Like a sports arena.
yeah, like sports arenas or Madison Square Garden or places like
Stadium
that.
venues.
But I will say this, and I'm more than happy to have the board not even consider the fact that that guidance has been violated and address the rest of the EO violations and the owner's approach to the investigation and determine whether a suspension is appropriate on that basis. Because we have a large group of people who are not socially distancing in this location. And it did not appear that even after having been warned that the owner was planning on changing his mode of operation, which creates a risk to public health, safety, and welfare.
Right, but they have 48 maximum occupancy, 35% is 16 people. They had 13 patrons.
More patrons than that.
So
They had about 30. What did you
the
say?
report says 13. They had 30?
No, the report says over capacity by 13.
Oh, I see. So they had 30 people total?
You said it should have been about 16.
Right. And they had how many people, Margarita?
Take a
Sorry,
break.
you're on mute, Margarita.
No,
I'm sorry. Yes, they had 29 patrons, not counting employees.
Okay.
Anything else, Commissioner Fan?
I mean, I think that I really would like to have some clarification as to what's actually allowable right now.
Okay, well then we'll take a break. We'll take a break and we'll get you that information.
Okay, thank
Do
you.
that.
All right, so what's,
Just because I feel like there are lots of other places that are planning the same activities, and it makes me nervous to start this without actually having us fully understand what's allowed.
No, I know for a fact that this is not allowed. I will get you the clarity to back that up. Okay.
all right, Chairman, do you want to proceed with the, Ms. Marsico, can you mute your line? There's a lot of background noise.
We need to take a break, Tom. Both cases are similar.
All right then, so we will take a brief recess, have a conference with council, if you will, and then we'll come back.
Okay, thank you.
So are we ready to proceed?
I'm back.
Ready to go, Tom. Thanks.
Commissioner Fan, are you ready?
Yes.
There we go. All right then. So I think left off Commissioner Fan. Did you have any other questions?
Well, I was
I'm sorry,
going to
Gary, did you want to
clarify.
say anything?
Yes, I was going to clarify. So I believe the February 23rd change that Commissioner Fan that you're referring to is the stadium change. It's for event locations with more than 10,000 people.
Margarita, can you mute your line, please? Thank you.
It's for event locations with more than 10,000 people. It's subject to a 10% capacity limit, applying to hockey, basketball, football, baseball, music shows, and other performances. And I believe there are, in addition to the capacity limits, some other restrictions for the people who can attend. I believe there's some testing restrictions. There was also another announcement about some type of entertainment change that's going to take place on April 2nd, subject to guidance that has not yet been issued. So unless I'm missing something, I don't believe there's been any change to the executive orders that would prompt us to reconsider the guidance that we've had for our licensees on the advertising and charging admission for music performances in venues that's been in place since June or July.
Anything else, Commissioner Fan?
No, I don't have anything else. Thank you.
Commissioner Ford, do you have any questions?
Yeah, Counselor, when were they licensed as a bar? They're bar tavern, I assume, right?
Yes, sir, their license is a bar tavern.
When?
November 15th of 2004.
Do they have any adverse history?
No,
The basement, is that an approved use?
yes,
Is there any other part of the building that they are allowed to use, or that is where they are? That is the club,
that is their club, yes.
okay? And live music is an approved use?
Actually, Mr. Roberts, I think you have the method of operation, right?
I do. When we originally licensed them, they did indicate that they'd have jukebox and a piano bar, Brazilian and jazz music. So those types of live performances were approved as part of the original license.
So in effect, yes, okay.
But the Department of Health guidance does indicate that musicians have to be over 12 feet away from the patrons, and clearly they were not. So we're concerned about the spacing that was happening in that room with the people crowded in there.
Okay. I don't have any other questions.
All right, Chairman Bradley, any questions?
No, I have no questions.
All right, with that, I'm going to call for the vote of the members. First, Commissioner Fan.
While I agree that there is EO violations here, I just don't think the facts add up to necessarily a necessary punishment of summary suspension, which is so serious. And I think there is a lot of confusion in the community about what is allowed and what is not allowed. It's unclear why a 10,000 people stadium is allowed, but a jazz club is not allowed. And I think that we should file charges, but not suspend. So that's where I am. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Ford, your vote, please.
Yeah, I have my questions about this one too, that I'm not comfortable with it for the similar reasons to Commissioner Fan. So I'm not going to vote to suspend as well. I think charges are warranted, but I don't know that suspension is due at this point.
All right, Chairman Bradley.
I, on the other hand, disagree with both of you. The pictures here say 1,000 words. People are sitting on top of each other that clearly were not together. They're on benches, literally shoulder to shoulder. Most not wearing masks. There's no food evident anywhere. From the menu, the food wouldn't even be sufficient to cover legally what they were required to be doing. And the music has been consistent throughout. And while I don't know how DOH comes to the conclusions they come to, I disagree with Commissioner Fan. I think it's very clear that they are not allowed to be doing this. And I think that's very clear and has been clear for well over, or approximately a year now. So I'm going to vote to summarily suspend.
Yeah, I would also add that my concern about this place is that this operator can't be trusted to comply with the law, which is really the standard that we've been applying to all the suspensions that we've been bringing. And I think there are multiple indications as to why that's the case here, in addition to clear executive order violations. But given the way in which the members have voted and given the context of the next case, I'm going to ask that we adjourn the decision, consideration of the other matter that was up for suspension today. And we will make a decision on whether or not we're going to present it on at the next appropriate meeting.
All right, so
Mr. Nair, apologies to you for waiting all this time, but I'm not going to go forward with that one.
all right, so just for the record, then we'll note that the request for today has been withdrawn, and then if you want to resubmit it at another meeting, we'll do it that way.
Tom, can you hold on a minute? Can you please mute your line?
Margarita, I've muted your line several times. Stop unmuting it, okay?
All right, now repeat what you said, Tom.
My suggestion would be we just withdraw this request for today's meeting without prejudice, and then if council's office wants to resubmit it, rather than holding it over for another meeting, it's just cleaner to do it that way.
That's fine.
Yeah. All right. So with that then, Chairman, I have no other items on the calendar. Do you have anything you want to add?
I do not.
All right, then with that, this meeting is concluded. Thank you.
Thank you.